A new initiative aimed at shaping South Africa's future leadership is set to launch this weekend. The Mthombo Professional Network will officially launch at the Suleiman Memorial Center, NPC, under the theme Building a Legacy Across Generations. And I think it's a very, very important conversation to have. And we'll be joined in a bit by Professor Ngubane, who's going to be giving us the latest and all that we know about the Mthombo Professional Network. What is it? What's aim? And what causes are there for professionals and young leaders and change makers, who want to make a difference and who want to assist the next generation of leaders, join and be a part of. And we're joined, as I mentioned now, by the founder, Professor Amina Ngubane, who's joining us via our virtual platform to give us more information on that. And I think most importantly, how you can be a part of it and why it matters now. Prof, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to News and Views.
Good morning.
Professor, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for joining us. I think we'll jump right into it. There's something really, really awesome that you guys have come up with. And the theme is very, very powerful, building a legacy across generations. Can you give us a bit more insight on this initiative, what it's all about, and what does legacy mean to you in the South African context today?
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. For me, I think what bothered me the most was first, as South Africa, we tend to have a first graduate, first everything in each family, but we normally struggle to replicate or multiply that one graduate into more graduates in the family and in the community. So therefore I ask myself, how do we ensure that even when we've departed from this world, we leave a piece of ourselves where, for example, if you are a medical doctor or you are a chef, at least someone can say, when I met Slaelo, he actually spoke to me about the beauty of media, and now I'm a guru in media because Laelo took me through, how to be the best in the media field. So this whole thing of building a legacy across generations is to ensure that we do not have excellence that ends at one person. It should be ongoing. Instead of saying that we have generational curses, I'm hoping we are going to have generational excellence.
Very, very powerful indeed. There are a lot of networking platforms out there, especially now with the rise of social media. There are initiatives similar to what you come up with. What would you say makes Mthombo different or necessary at this point?
Our approach is actually not even to duplicate what is there or to compete with what is already there, but we want to become the mediators, because we know very well that most of these networks are operating in the metropolitan. They are not in the rural areas. They are not in the marginalized communities, because very few people will actually dare to drive to a very like outskirt area. People are either scared or they just don't care. So we have that passion for marginalized community. As you know very well, I do work that has to do with people with disabilities, incarcerated people, that you might find that, people always assume that when someone is in prison, it's because they were a bad person. But when you work in the correctional centers, you realize that some of them had to do certain things because of circumstances. So when you give them opportunities, they really change. So those are the communities that we'll be targeting, so that we avoid a re-offending within our communities. And then we also target women, because we know very well, yes, I accept that we always want, as fathers or as families, that our daughters must get married early, and I don't oppose that. But the truth is that should the husband die, or should there be divorce, or should it be a man that is not responsible, then if this woman does not have skills, then it means she is in trouble and the children are in trouble. So the idea is
mm,
that if the chef that is good at this, we are going to say, okay, come you housewives, we are going to show you how to actually generate income while you are sitting at home, because we don't want to break families, but we want to strengthen them and make them more sustainable. Then the last other part is a critical issue of South Africa has a lot of displaced people, and I know it's a critical issue at the moment, the issue of whether one is a refugee or not and all that.
mm,
Now, um, parents know exactly why they come here, but our focus is there are children of these particular refugees or whatever that are actually born in South Africa, so they are South African, and most of them, if you check, you go to vets, you go to UCT, they are the ones that are doing engineering because for some reason they are not scared of math and science. So how then do we work with these children that are so confident to do maths to almost like cross-pollinate the confidence
mm,
in the science field, so that at the end we are not pointing fingers, but we are simply saying we are all living in South Africa. How do we work together so that we have an innovation hub and we stop being producers, but we stop being consumers, but we become producers of solutions for South Africa and the country at large. So we as Mthombo Professional Network, we are hoping that other networks that are out there will work with us to reach for them where they cannot, and also to see, remember, we have also local languages. So if
mm,
you want to reach somewhere where someone needs to talk to young people and what in Xitsonga, I'm sure we'll have someone that speaks Xitsonga. If you want someone
mm.
that speaks isiXhosa, you'll have that. So that is going to ensure that whatever we are trying to do reaches far and wide instead of just staying in the metropolitan.
Mm, mm, mm. You know, as I'm listening to you speak, I think the overarching, theme that's coming out of this conversation and everything you've been saying, which has been very, very powerful, by the way, is you're placing quite a strong emphasis on mentorship of some sort. Do you think, as South Africa, we're doing enough to prepare the next generation of leaders? It almost feels like there's a crisis of what's going to be happening next. What happens 10, 15, 20 years from now? Because it feels like the generations that are coming after and the current crop of young professionals themselves feel disillusioned. Graduates are largely unemployed. We are in a very precarious stage. What can we do? What can we do to take it to the next level so that we are confident of what's going to be coming up after? I mean, even in political parties, people ask themselves, well, who's next after Cyril, or who's next after Julius, or who's next after, because yeah, it looks bad.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you've asked this. You'll find it in our network. We have one young man who has done public administration, politics, and governance. And when I informed him, Ntsako, that Ntato,
Mm,
you are very good with governance and all these things. So I would like you to have a cluster that you mentor. And someone will wonder why. It's simply because of what you said. We cannot have professionals that are just sitting back and letting things happen. The difference between us now, professionals, is that we are just complaining, oh no, the government is doing this to us. They are taking our tax and they are not doing anything. But we need to
mm,
get back to the kind of professionals that are engaging government, questioning that, you know what, you guys are taking a large percent of our salaries and we cannot see any impact on what is actually happening in the country. So with what we are doing, we are really hoping that at the end of the day, the mentorship is going to stop being structured within companies, but it's going to
mm,
start reaching out to communities. As you rightly said, there are many unemployed graduates. Now, the question is, how do you get them to stop looking for employment from the very same companies that don't have jobs? How do you
mm,
change their thinking so that they start looking for gaps within South Africa. And that's why you'll see in our objectives, we have mentorship, we have capacity building, we have research, and we have networking. So the research will assist us in identifying gaps and using that evidence to create interventions. So I'm hoping that, for example, at a certain point, we'll have, after we've done the proposals to the sitters, then we can have learnerships for, like, let's say 10 unemployed graduates per cluster of the professions. Then they will be actually assisted and trained and whatever. And at the end of the day, they will then be able to enter our innovation hub that is then going to spread throughout the country to say, stop looking for jobs. We are now doing it for ourselves. We don't need to all follow the government. And I can't wait for that exciting time where government is not our main source of livelihood, where we are doing our things. And I'm sure you've seen it yourself, those that have decided to find alternative routes, they're actually having fun. I met this professional who was actually a psychologist, and when she got a child that had a disability, obviously she could not keep on going to work because she had to look after the child. And then she says, I started planting because the only way of relieving stress is to touch the soil. And guess what? Now she's supplying shops fresh produce. So I'm hoping that we'll have people that are going to think differently, want to innovate, and also teach the same skills to other people. We need to bring back hope to our people. When you walk around, everybody's complaining. So we need to bring back that hope that you can do it yourself.
And I think that's very, very important. Let's talk about impact and how inclusive Mthombo is going to be here. The network itself, how accessible is it to young people, to young professionals who may not already have certain connections or have the resources to link up with mentors and other like-minded individuals and people like yourselves that can assist them? How easily are you to get hold of?
Those who know me will tell you, even when I meet you, sometimes I'll take a cow train just for control so that I talk to people. I'll take even a kumbi so that I'll get a chance to ask a young person, what are you up to? And that way you actually get to know what are people up to. So I'm very accessible, and I'm hoping that the team that we work with are going to learn that as the first principle, that we are actually guided by Ubuntu philosophy. We are caring, we are open, we are accessible, and we are not going to abuse power, because you know very well that when people are put in a position of mentorship, they could go out there and promise things to people and exploit them. You know what normally happens when people are like looking for modeling gigs, and the next thing, so many wrong things have happened. So we are Ubuntu based. We are humanity based. We are selfless. We are accessible, and we do not want to add to the pain of people that are looking for us. So to respond again to you, our membership types are going to differ. We'll have those that are honorary because obviously maybe they are retired now, or they are well-wishers. They don't want to get involved like hands-on, but they want to either give us advice, or they want to donate because they can see the wonderful work we are doing and all that. Then we'll have the professional themselves, the senior professionals that know that they are ready to mentor because they are good at their fields. Then we'll have the mentees themselves, who can either be young professionals that are already working or young professionals that are not employed. And then we'll have the fourth and third year students, fifth year students that are in postgraduate and all that are going to have the cheapest of the membership fees so that they can subscribe. And we are deliberately doing this when people don't even put 10 Rand or 50 Rand into what they are actually trying to subscribe to. They then don't take it serious. They do not value it. So it will be a cheap membership so that someone is a member and then they can follow the procedure. That way we will be able to say, when we started at the beginning of the year, we started with so and so, and they were at this level, and 6 months later, they can now do this. We need to be able to do that. So the tracking needs to happen, and I'm really hoping that the team that will be working with will keep on coming to Salam Media and saying, hey, when we started, these are our people and now they are here. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we change and improve the livelihoods of people. And another maybe very important thing, all the belief systems that we have are about giving. And at the moment, everyone is worried about themselves. So we want to bring that culture of saying, in Islam, it's called sadaqah, to say, even if you give 10 rand to someone, it actually opens ways for you. So we want to encourage professionals to say, identify a school near your place, even if you give them a set of toilet papers a month. That is something you've done. Get to understand what the challenges are. Even if it's not money, go there and talk to the kids and offer your advice, so that at the end of the day, each and every professional is, being selfless, and they're making sure that they contribute to what is happening in the country.
Very powerful indeed. Take us inside the launch on the 9th. What can attendees expect? And most importantly, who should be in that room? Who are you hoping shows up?
You know very well that when you have in isiZulu kuthiwa umcimbi, when you have umcimbi, this is what I call it, because when you are launching, it's umcimbi. You are introducing the new baby to people. Now as I know very well, that as much as we'll appreciate that professionals come in, but also we are inviting everyone else, the community, to come in, because remember, as Africans, the word of mouth is very powerful. So if a certain mother comes in, even if they are not a professional, and they get to understand what we stand for, they will then go back to church and say, you know what, you young people, invite this network. They will come and offer 1, 2, 3. So on the 9th, anyone is welcome to come and listen, because we are introducing ourselves to the public, and we'll be having Professor Phumela Msweli, who's the DVC of University of Mpumalanga, and she is a mentorship coach. Actually, she was managing the UNISA business school, leadership school. So it is someone that is in leadership. And then also we'll be having Brother Thembi Safagude, who has been in Al Jazeera for years, who's going to be our keynote. And then we'll have young people that will be talking to us about their journeys and what they expect. Because in the disability field, we always say nothing about us without us. So there is no way that this mentorship is going to be about senior people only. And again, our emphasis is that this mentorship needs to be mutual. It needs to have mutual benefit, because we know very well that there are certain things that even the people that might consider themselves senior, they can actually learn a lot from those that are junior. And one such is the issue of the use of technology in an effective manner. So when we start this, we are going to open the floor and say there's a structured program that you are going to follow, but as young people, if you want to also structure a program that you feel you want to contribute to the seniors or to everybody else, please also you create that program, because the basic principle is that everyone has something to offer. There's no one who's empty.
No, I think that's very, very important. Let's come to the long-term vision here. 5 years from now, what would success look like for Mthombo? And another aspect of it, and I think, I'm asking this question to myself as you're speaking, how do we have Mthombo become different from, the other organizations or initiatives similar to it, who, according to my opinion and the personal experience that I've had with them, almost become elitist? It becomes an elitist networking organization where people that know each other, people that are in similar fields, almost make it their own little WhatsApp group of some sort, and everyone else feels like an outsider. This is, from experience and what I've noticed over the years when such initiatives come along.
The good thing with Mthombo is you'll notice that we are actually not focusing on one profession, because we know very well that in in our communities, we don't have a big number of doctors or a big number of lawyers that know each other. So therefore,
Mm,
Mthombo Professional Network is going to be an umbrella that will then have different portfolios according to the different professions. And as you might have noticed in my bio, I also work in SADC. So we
mm,
have invited like students from Sudan, students from different parts of Africa to come and join Mthombo so that they can become our champions when they go back to their countries. So I'm hoping that in the next 5 years, Mthombo is going to be global, and it's going to be the source of sustainable livelihoods where, as you are saying, people don't feel elitists. They are not selfish. They actually want to share each and every knowledge that they have. Because at the end of the day, if I tell you how to become a professor, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop becoming one. If you tell
mm,
someone how to do broadcasting, it doesn't mean that you are going to stop becoming. So we need to do away with the mindset of being unable to share our expertise with the fear that people are going to take away our jobs. We need to actually allow, I'm not trying to be religious, but at the end, if God wants you somewhere, He'll take you there. So just give the
true.
skill, and then whoever the people will be able to be where they are. So in 5 years, I'm hoping by then we would have had so many learnerships that more unemployed graduates will be part of our innovation hub. I have spoken to some people about having an innovation hub outside the town, because remember, land is expensive in town. So I'm trying
Mm,
to work in the rural areas where a chief will understand that we are coming to add value, and then they can let us use the land, and in the process they will also get recognition for contribution. So I mean, for contributing. So once we have the innovation hub, I'm hoping we'll be producing things. I'm hoping we'll be doing very big things, because the funniest or fascinating thing about anyone, even including us as South African, once you let people stop worrying and you let them relax, they come up with very fantastic ideas. So I'm
mm,
hoping in 6 years we'll have an innovation hub, learnerships that are going to enable people to live on their own, more people that have become entrepreneurs, because you know very well that some people might have the skill, but they have not been taught how to run a business. So Umthombo is going to be multi, inter, and transdisciplinary, where those that are in business will be able to mentor those that are in engineering, and they'll be able to mentor the teachers how to actually start providing tuition after hours so that they can get extra pay. You understand?
mm,
So
mm,
not just gonna be like, no, we are the ones that we are not an ivory tower. We don't know everything. So even
mm.
within ourselves, we need to learn the skills, and then we go out with that very same attitude of humility and being able to share so that others can benefit from us also.
Mm. How do you plan to make this sustainable? I think, as a South African Black Muslim, there are a few organizations that you can think of who, in concept, were really, really brilliant, and there were little signs that this thing could be really wonderful. But fast forward a few years later, it is dead. No one talks about it, whether it's a conference, whether it's an annual meeting, or an initiative like Umtombo. Ultimately, we don't see it through, and I think that that's the weakness that we've encountered over the years, seeing through these kind of initiatives, making them as sustainable as possible, and ultimately making them as impactful as they can be. How does Umtombo plan to be sustainable, to be still in the conversation 10, 15 years, 20 years from now, and ultimately be handed over to the next generation?
First thing, we will not only be for Muslims, because you know very well that we are supposed to benefit the Ummah. We are supposed to benefit everyone. So
Mm,
to avoid all these politics that happen in these associations where people isolate themselves and they do not want to learn from others, we are going to be open to everyone who's a professional, so that this will allow even other people to understand how important it is for Muslims to actually have good relations with their neighbors. So we are not only Muslim based, we are open to all professionals. As much as people, of course, will have their own, like myself, anyone who works with me, they know that I wear my hijab, they know that they don't shake my hand. So you will keep your Islamic ethos, and people will understand why certain things have to be done. There'll be no alcohol in our functions and all that. But at the end of the day, we are going to work with everyone. And I think that will remove all the controversy, and we are going to focus on the objectives and run a professional, as entity with proper governance, instead of just do where I become like now the big thing, where if I come in, everyone now must be praising me. A Muslim does not behave like that.
Very important. Lastly, before I let you go, final details. For those that want to attend, that want to be a part of Mthombo, how do they get hold of you and how do they go about it?
We are launching on the 9th of May, which is this Saturday, at Suleiman Nana Memorial Trust. And we really thank them because they gave us the venue for free. And then everyone is welcome. Of course, there are people that have confirmed. My number is 081 440 5569. You can send me a WhatsApp and confirm. Come with your friends. If ever the food is not enough, we are going to share. But at the end of the day, Umcimbi is going to be there, and it's open for everyone, because Mthombo is not an elitist organization. It is here to actually add value to all people that live in South Africa and beyond. Thank you very much.
There we go. Jazakallah so much, Professor Amina Ngubane, founder of Mthombo Professional Network. Hope we chat again soon, and good luck.
Jazakallah. Thank you for the opportunity.
Pleasure's all ours. And we'll be following Mthombo quite closely. I think they resonate quite, closely with what we envision, South Africa to be here at Salon Media, and the steps that all of us can take to make this country a better place. So if you are looking to grow, to connect, and be part of something wonderful, man, really wonderful concept. And I think you can, head over to their launch this upcoming Saturday at Nana Memorial. I'm sure it'll be memorable. Going to take a quick break. News and views continues after this.